So you've just got a job offer. You're super excited, but before you say yes, there are some very important questions you should be asking. Like, what's the clinic culture like? What are the expectations for marketing yourself? What are the core values of the company? And of course, let's not forget about perks, compensation, and the location of the clinic. So let's dive into what you need to consider before accepting a job offer. And we thought it'd be really great to get started with the big one, which is compensation and what types of compensation is out there. Um, we'll specifically be talking about our personal types of compensation, which is different for Cindy and I, without getting into the personal nitty-gritty, but we hope you find this video really helpful. So let's kick it off with compensation. What style of compensation do you receive, Cindy?
So I work as an employee in the private clinic.
Nice. And I am a self-employed contractor at my private clinic site. And this is sort of the only type of compensation I've ever seen in my physiotherapy career. And same for Cindy, right? You've only ever been.
Exactly. I've only ever been employee.
Okay. What are some of the benefits, like the pros and cons to being salaried?
I guess one of the biggest benefit of being a salary worker is that your salary will always be very stable. So you won't really be having like, let's say, a huge pay in 1 month, and then the next month, because you have
Uh,
less clients, then you might not get a, as big paycheck, which sometimes could affect a lot of things. Example, if you have a mortgage to pay off, you have a car to pay off, you have like child expenses or other stuff to
oh,
take care of. It's actually, it feels
relatable.
really good to have a stable salary. So I think that's probably the biggest advantage of
Big
being a
time.
salary worker. Yeah.
Do you think, okay, personal question for you. If you were to renegotiate your contract tomorrow, would you still want salaried? Like you've built up your caseload, you know how to keep your retention. Like at this point in your career, like 7, 8 years in, would you actually switch it? Or are you like, no, I still like it. I like the consistency. I like the safety net.
This is actually a very good question. I didn't really thought about
Personal.
this before. No, it's fine. I didn't really
Okay.
thought about this before because, like I said, I've always been like an employee working in like
Yeah.
different private clinics. So I feel like this is the only like I guess pay method that I have experienced so far. To be quite honest, at the
Yeah.
moment, I like the stability because I do have things I need to pay off. So,
Yeah.
I feel like because I might be someone who can get like stressed easily, if I do see that my paycheck is not as good this month compared to last month, I feel like probably I would keep it as is.
Okay. This is an interesting like segue question, but which months in Quebec, in the pelvic health world and ortho are the least busiest months? And this is for asking for like the self-employed, yeah, potential self-employed.
I think in my area, I'm not sure whether it's actually the same with like all the areas of Quebec, but I would say in the area that where I am working in, I feel like for the last probably 2 years, it has been mostly like January, February has been like the down
It's
months.
a dip.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like
Oh, wow.
sometimes some summer months could be also a
Yeah.
little yeah, quiet because people leave for vacation also, but it's mostly those times. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I would definitely say it's the summer months.
Okay.
Yeah, the July, August, June, even June, there's a significant dip in scheduling, but like at this point, for me, I've built up my schedule and I'm really grateful to be full now, but I'm seeing a dip in the schedules just
Hmm.
globally. Yeah, overall.
I guess that's just
Interesting.
the trend.
It's just the trend, yeah. But doesn't mean you can't be full. Like right now, even though it's June, the end of June, I'm probably fully booked for 2 weeks. So that's also not a
That's
guarantee.
great.
Like that's that requires, and this kind of goes back into the question is, as a contractor, I'm much more anal retentive about keeping my schedule full just to, yeah, be able to afford my mortgage, my bills and whatnot, my kids' stuff. So I do a lot of extra work outside of the clinic on like contacting my patients. Hey, would you mind coming in a couple weeks early? I've got this free slot. Hey, somebody last second rescheduled and now there's a free spot. Hey, what days would you like to come in? I'm gonna make a wait list for you. So I've been doing a lot of that administrative work, which is not the responsibility of the front desk person. It's on me because our front desk
Mhm.
is different people on different days. So I can't rely on one person to do that for me. So a lot of that admin work falls on me. And if you're okay with doing that, with like email messaging and like switching around your schedule on weekends, then maybe contractor work is more for you. The other benefit to independent contractors is you get a ton of autonomy, and this I wouldn't trade for anything. I get to book off an afternoon if I'm not feeling like I want to work that afternoon without anyone over top of me asking me where I was. Or if I'm going on vacation or a conference with Cindy, I can book off the week in advance and not have any questions asked. So the autonomy is really, really valuable. Yeah, that's a major perk of being an independent contractor. The only downfall is you don't get paid though for your vacation. So you're paying for your vacation and you're losing money because you're not seeing anyone. It's kind of like a double whammy, but booking, like making your own schedule, filling out your schedule in the way that you like, making your own schedule, that's valuable because you can tailor it to daycare schedules, to your kids' things, to your partner's things. So very, very flexible in terms of making your schedule look the
Yeah,
way you
and
want.
and I definitely agree with that part. Like being able to be very flexible in your schedule is definitely a big perks. And I have to say that I am pretty lucky at my clinic that my boss is actually very like understandable. So even
Yeah.
sometimes if I need to like block off an afternoon to, I don't know, to go to a doctor's appointment or something, most often the time I would say like probably all the time she will allow me to. Like, and
Oh,
there's like two ways to do this. I can either take
okay.
my sick day which is like a pay sick day, or I can either like block my schedule off here and then like retake those hours somewhere else in the week.
Oh, okay.
So like as long as I'm working all my 35 hours in the week, she's okay with that.
Okay,
So I can
interesting.
actually say that I also have a little bit of flexibility in that,
Yep.
which is
Yep.
actually very good. Yeah.
And that's the other thing. My clinic offers health benefits plans at a low premium, like at a little bit of the premium paid by the contractor and a little bit of the premiums paid by the clinic owner. This is really, really rare. I don't think you'll be able to, well, I shouldn't say never, but it is incredibly rare that as a contractor you would even be offered some type of health benefits plan. And I think that I'm not on it personally because I'm not working enough hours to be on it, but I believe they even get a little bit of like a life insurance plan with it. So that's really rare to find in a clinic. That's something not to be expected. However, for a salary job, do you have a health benefits plan? Do you have like long-term disability and insurance in that way?
Yes, I do. So I think in all
Okay.
the clinics I've worked at, they always offer like a health benefit to the employees. It costs like different amount of money. But
Okay,
yes, we
so
do
it's
have
taken
like
off
the
your paycheck.
yes.
Okay.
But there, I think this is also something up for negotiation with
Okay.
like the owner of the clinic as well, because there are clinics who are willing to pay for your health benefit. So they will like reimburse that money for
Oh,
you.
wow. Okay.
Exactly. So definitely something for negotiation, I think. So yeah, I have a health benefit for me and my partner. Also,
From your clinic?
yes, from my
Oh,
clinic.
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
So I also have a life insurance, I think, and a disability insurance.
From the clinic as well.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So definitely not for an independent contractor. You're gonna have to find a, what's the right person? What's the word of the person? Like a broker or like a, you know what I'm trying to say? Like a life insurance, long-term disability broker to help you find a
Yeah.
plan that works for you. And guys, it's more expensive if you're on an independent plan for you and your family versus if you were on a group health benefits plan. It's always cheaper, better deals, better rates for a group health benefits plan because they can spread the risk amongst a lot of people. So that's kind of a
Hmm.
negative for independent contractors. Yeah, I looked into some of these numbers this year and yeah, it's very eye-opening and it's also very
Hmm.
scary to consider because like you're considering yeah, critical illness that's another insurance type. So critical illness, long-term disability, and what happens when that happens, how much you get paid out and what the pay structure looks like. It's all very complex
Hmm.
um
Yeah.
in terms of which company you go with and what the payout looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to think about when you
Yes.
find a job offer.
Yes. And you
Yeah.
brought up a really good point in your answer. Everything in like
The
accepting a
contract.
job or yeah, or a contract is completely negotiable. Like even if
Hmm.
that's they're saying like this is the way it is, this is how everyone's doing it, you can absolutely negotiate. Like let's say Cindy's partner had a family health benefits plan and you don't need that health benefits plan.
Hmm.
Maybe you could negotiate a little bit of something else. Maybe you could negotiate, like, I don't
Yep.
need your help with this, but why don't we negotiate a higher salary? Because you're not paying into this thing. So
Hmm.
think about different ways. It's not just a black and white situation. You can negotiate anything for your specific scenario. And I
Yeah.
promise you, if you negotiate that up front, you're going to feel way more happier at the job than like in the back of your mind, like, dang it, I should have negotiated a health benefits plan. I need the physio now. So, yeah, yeah, definitely think about the stuff before you accept. What else with the compensation? Are we missing some points? Major points? What are the major cons in salaried positions?
Hmm.
Because like I feel like would you agree with this statement or not? That as a new, very new public health physio, it's very attractive to go towards a salaried job
Hmm.
versus a contractor job where you're not sure like is the clinic gonna help me find clients? Am I gonna have to give talks in the community and like build my own caseload on my own? Like this is really scary. What do I do? Like I gotta pay student loans back. Yeah, is salary more attractive like for a new public health physio? Is that
I personally think so because when you just start in the private clinic, you won't be starting with a full caseload. So you might be
Hmm.
worrying that, well, if I don't have a patient at this hour, then I'm not getting paid at this hour, right? To build like your full caseload, usually it would take, I guess, a year. I don't know how long it takes for you to really get a full caseload, but it will take some time. So if money is something that worries you, probably like being a salary worker would like make you feel more reassured and not
Hmm.
having to worry about, okay, what am I gonna do if I don't have a client or anything like that.
Yeah.
For a new grad, probably this type of like pay, it's like just it feels more safe
Yeah,
than anything else. Yeah.
100%. Let me ask the flip side because I found actually as a independent contractor, at the start, I joined a couple clinics and it was like hard. It was hard to find new clients. And so what I would do is in the downtime that I had, I would see if I could reach the patient a little bit earlier. If it was a new evaluation, like a yeah, new client, I would email them and probe like what are we looking at in terms of like what's your primary concern? And then they would say blah 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 blah. I don't know, urinary incontinence. And I would review my notes. I would take that downtime to review the notes, get really prepared, maybe plan out what I think might be the concerns, make sure to ask the questions I need to ask, and basically build up my confidence as a clinician in the off time. So that to me, I felt was valuable because if I had just jumped into it and my boss gave me a full caseload, I think my head would be spinning. I'd be like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. And then I don't know how to chart quickly. So I think one of the benefits to being maybe a little bit slower in building a caseload, is you get the time to like really review, get your notes down in the way that you like. Um, and then, you get your home exercise programs out before you're done by the end of the day. But yeah, you just don't make as much in those few months. They're really tough, those first few months. But the thing is, with the question on when did I build a full caseload, what actually happened is those first few clinics had told me, Jane, it would take years. It's going to take you years to build a full caseload. And I was, I was like, what? I can't afford it to take years. And so what I did was I joined a third clinic, and that's the clinic I ended up staying at. That clinic has huge volume. It's the location thing. It's like right in the heart of downtown, right in the financial district. And I think there I built a full caseload in maybe 3 months, but
Oh,
that's
nice.
probably rare. That's probably rare. So I don't know, like that's a tricky question to just ask, but from personal experience, it depends on where you're working and also maybe
Mm-hmm.
how willing you're willing to market yourself. For sure, those first two clinics, I didn't do all that much marketing. I think I did a couple like doctor lunch and learns. It wasn't the most fruitful. Yeah, I don't think it helped all that much. Yeah, it really depends on where you work. There's no clear answer. What about for you? Like, wasn't it dead in the beginning? And you're like, this is great. I'm getting paid for this. Or no,
It's
it was pretty
actually
full.
not, it's actually not that bad.
Wow. And did you
I
feel
think,
overwhelmed then?
um, how do I put this? I think in the first clinic that I worked at one point, I was feeling pretty overwhelmed. Yes.
Okay.
Because I was like just starting and I learned everything in English at McGill University, right? So
Yeah.
when I started the first clinic that I worked at, it was more francophone,
Oh
to be
my
honest.
goodness.
So like I think my first month or so, I had to like translate everything I know into French, like all the like terminology, names of the
Oh
muscle, like
my
names of the
goodness.
tests and stuff like that. So I think that like in the beginning, it was really overwhelming because I had to do that extra step kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
forced myself to like chart in French because I think that really like pushes me to like learn everything in French again.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, so now I can actually chart in English and French
Okay.
uh pretty like easily. But yeah, as I think the
Wow.
beginning was
Wow.
a bit hard, and the first clinic I worked at, they also had a lot of patients. Like I don't think I really had like a dead time
Wow.
over there. Yeah, they
Hold on.
had a lot of patients. They really needed a physio.
Were you replacing someone on mat leave or no? You were just like
I don't
an extra
remember. Yeah,
person.
I don't remember anymore. I think someone left.
Wow.
I think I was probably replacing someone else. So
Okay.
I think, and yes, and I remember I was working the evening shift. So they had a physio who was doing more like the day shift, and they needed
Yeah.
someone for the evening shift. So I worked
Okay.
every day except Friday, like in the evening. So it was like 11 to like 7 or something similar to that. So that was my shift.
Wow. That's a rough ship. Like for a
Yeah,
Friday
that's
night. Damn.
except Friday,
Oh, except Friday.
except Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
yeah.
see. I see. I see.
And I think really, like you said, it depends on the location and it
Yeah.
depends on the time of the year. It depends on the clinic. Sometimes you might just go in and you get a full schedule already. Other times it might be not as busy, but it's very variable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree. Agree. So just to reiterate, being an independent contractor is probably, it is the more high risk option, but you have the ability to earn more. You can build your own schedule. You have the freedom of that, but the cons is you may need to seek your own insurance, health benefits, critical life insurance, long-term disability, EI. So I, for example, opted not to get mat leave, but for someone, yeah, like if Cindy got pregnant, she would be able to get mat leave. So yeah, there's lots of pros and cons and differences. So if you guys have any specific questions for us, write it down in the comment, and every week or every month or so, we'll go through a scan and answer your questions if you have any. But if you were to ask me, would I change the format tomorrow? I probably wouldn't. I would keep it exactly the same because now at this point, I feel confident that I'm going to be full all year round. But I certainly couldn't say this, right? Like my first year of practice, I would be like, oh man, it'd be nice to be salaried right now. Yeah, and get some support. But now I feel like the independent contractor thing grew me as a clinician, but also I grew as a marketer. I grew as a like scavenger is the wrong word, but like you have to be resourceful. You have to look for your own thing. You have to, yeah, figure out your own path. So I do appreciate being an independent
Mhm.
contractor from the beginning for that, for those reasons. And then Cindy, do you want to do a quick summary of the salaried?
Yeah, so I think the pros of being a salary worker is that you get a very stable pay every month. You don't have to worry about that. You would usually get like group health benefits with your clinic. You have pay vacation, you get sick days, you get also like the holidays, the national holidays that are also paid. I think that's pretty much the biggest pros. Oh, yes, one of the things that we miss, I think some clinics also can pay for your continuing education.
Oh yeah, I
So they
think
have a
this might be in the
budget.
perks, so we may not have
Okay, cool.
gotten there
So
yet.
yes, so some clinics will also give you a budget for your continuing educations.
Oh,
So that's one of
nice.
the nice pros.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then definitely the cons is that you might not have as much flexibility in making your own schedule. You might not earn as much as someone who is a contractor. I think that's pretty much it for the
Mhm.
cons,
It's a low
probably.
risk. Yeah, it's like
It's a low, exactly. It's definitely
low
a
risk.
lower risk option.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've now, as you were talking, I remembered one major con for independent contractor, and that's you have to save your money so that you can pay taxes in April. And guys, I did not know this the first year, and man, oh man, was I ever surprised when tax season hit and they're like, okay, you have this amount to pay. And I'm like, what? I don't have that amount to pay you. So yeah, that was eye-opening. So save your money accordingly, figure out what tax bracket you're in and figure like pre-calculate your payments. I mean, I strongly suggest you just getting a financial advisor if you have no idea what I'm talking about, but please don't be me and be shocked on a bachelorette trip when your accountant's like, Jane, you owe the CRA this amount. And I'm just like, I'm having the
Oh
worst time
no.
on this bachelorette trip. I shouldn't have even come. Okay, let's see. So perks, you mentioned a couple of these. I feel like we mentioned a few of these, and the health benefits thing for an independent contractor is a major perk. Having someone pay for your courses, continuing ed, that's a major perk, and that's not solely for salaried employees. You could negotiate it. I would say it's rare, but if you make a case for it, like, hey, if I can get this perinatal course, I can see people throughout the dead zone of the day, the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., whatever, that like people are afraid to put clinicians there because it's usually dead. You can make a case for that. You can be like, I can make this part of my day super busy because moms can come in with their babies on mat leave. Then you make that case for yourself, boom, you get your course paid for, and both of you guys are super happy with the results. So again, everything's a negotiation. Just because you're contracted doesn't mean you can't negotiate stuff like that. The other thing is I believe salaried people get their like tools and stuff paid for. And traditionally
Mm.
contractors, we have to pay for our own things. But I'm really lucky. My clinic helps me pay for like pelvic models and stuff. So like again, everything's a negotiation. It's really
Mm.
gray area. What other perks are there, Cindy, for either type of compensation payout. Yeah,
Did we
you get
talk
a
about
list, guys.
mentoring?
Mentoring, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a huge benefit. Yes. So is there an existing experienced ortho or pelvic or vestibular PT in your clinic? That's a huge game changer if they're willing to invest in you. Just because there is an experienced PT does not mean you're guaranteed mentorship. You need to
Yeah.
specifically mention this in your job interview or, yeah, expectations of what the job is going to entail and what you're going to get out of it. So please don't expect, just because there's two senior PTs that they're going to decrease their clinic hours to help you. You gotta like get that in writing. Like I will get 2 hours of mentorship every week for blah 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 for 6 months, so I feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
That's not so uncommon. That's not so uncommon. And if you're just coming out of school, you will learn so much by shadowing. You will learn so much from that mentorship because truly the education we get in school is just like the tip of the iceberg base knowledge. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so much, yeah, in the clinical experience that you're going to gain that's invaluable. So don't even like bat an eye. You're like, what? I got to take 2 hours out of my schedule. It does not matter. That 2 hours will come back in like hundred folds if you know you've learned something that you can take with you. So
Yeah.
mentorship is huge, and that could look like so many different things. So yeah, ask your people. Did you get mentorship? Because I did not.
I got mentorship at one of the clinic, yes.
What did it look like?
It was like every Friday we got 1 hour, so all the physios together. Because at the
Oh,
time we were, I think, four who were like almost like new grads. So I had
4?
like, yeah, so I had like maybe a year of
Oh,
experience, and then the other three they were new grads from that year. So we were like four new physios in that clinic. So
wow.
every Friday we got 1 hour with a senior physio who would like we like discuss cases. Like he or she shows us techniques that we get to practice on each other, and it was really interesting actually. And I really appreciated like all those clinical reasoning hours we did together because it was actually very helpful.
Wow, that's really
Yeah, but
cool.
that was like for ortho, and I also got
Mm-hmm.
a bit of
Mm-hmm.
mentoring from one of the pelvic health physio that was working there. So she allowed me to like shadow her
Mm,
during her treatment with clients and things like that. So that was great.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Right now, I'm starting to build a mentorship group with my clinic and like a tertiary clinic. And I would love to have it like exactly that number, like 4 full-time new pelvic health PTs eager to learn. So if you guys are interested, contact me if you're looking for a full-time job. But also if you're looking for mentorship, Cindy and I are potentially open if the group is committed and depending on the details of how many people are looking. So definitely don't hesitate to DM us or find our email on our website and contact us. Yeah, we love that mentorship stuff because we love to help like that 8-year-old version of us who is like not so confident, not getting results as quickly as we are now. And it really just takes some guidance and it could be some simple thing you missed. So yeah, mentorship is truly invaluable. I really wish I had mentorship at the start. Okay, what other perks are there? What
Yeah, so
perks
you
are we missing?
mentioned as an
Mentorship?
independent worker, you have to pay your own taxes, right, at the end of the year. Did you also have to pay for
Yep.
EI?
So that's optional. That's
Yeah.
optional. You can choose to pay into EI, but once you lock yourself in, you're locked in for your whole working career. So it's
Mm-hmm.
optional. It's optional. So again, a question for your financial advisor or spouse or for yourself, and figuring out, is this the perks that you want? Or do you feel as if you don't need it and you don't need to pay into EI? You can support yourself through mat leave with another business or through your spouse or so no, we don't get EI unless we opt in. Opt in.
Often,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. I guess
So
that's the other difference
yeah.
with us as salary workers. Our EI is like
Oh,
automatically
that's
deducted.
right. That's
from our
right.
salary. Yeah.
That's true. That's not even a choice, right? So,
Nope.
okay. I feel like we've covered all the perks. If we, health benefits, course credits, sick days paid, vacation days paid. That's another big perk that you guys get that we do not get. But again, perks is just anything bonus. And what I find is if you guys scour through job ads, and this is so weird, Cindy, but even though I love my job, I don't want to move anywhere. I love scouring job ads. Like I'm just like, what are they offering? Should I be asking for a raise? Like what are the perks now? And I'll just scour through the job ads from CPA, the OPA, because I work in Ontario. And I'll just look at the job ads from Pelvic Health Solutions to see what's being offered. And those perks are usually like right there, bright and center in bold, because those are the things that they want to attract you. So like signing bonuses, moving allowance, course credits, those things are usually right there in the job ad. So you usually don't have to fish for the perks. They're right there. They're right there because that's what they want to do to entice you to go for the job interview. Compensation, that's a bit more shaky. Some people are more honest and open about it, whereas other clinics want to find people that align with their values and not so like money hungry as their initial impression of what this job ad is posting about. And I respect that. Any thoughts on if you were a clinic owner, would you expose uh the split fee or the salary in your job ad, or would you just keep it negotiable
I
and
I probably won't expose it like right off the bat. Like
mm.
I think that's definitely something negotiable with the candidate that I will be meeting.
But is it fair to say that salaried positions, usually they put in like, oh, your salary is 80K to 120K, depending
It's
on experience. Is that said?
exactly, exactly. Well, so if you look at a job posting from a public sector, so let's say a hospital
Mm.
looking for a physio or like a, I don't know, like a public clinic looking for a physio, usually the salary is posted, but it's a
Mm.
range. It's like what you said. It's like, let's say from, I don't know, like 80K to 100K, depending on experience.
That's true. And the public sector is
Yeah,
always included.
it's always posted because they have an echelon, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the salary is already like decided.
Set.
Yeah, it's already set.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So I rescind my statement on everything's negotiable. Maybe not that. That's not negotiable.
Yeah, I think if
Um,
you work in the public system, then it's probably
and then
not
it's not as
negotiable.
free.
But if you're
Hmm.
in the private system, whether you are independent contractor, whether you are an employee, I feel like those
Yeah.
are still negotiable.
Okay. That's true. We're missing a perspective here of someone in the public system,
Hmm.
as well as in the commission-based system, which is like a medium risk. So we invite you guys to look at those two opportunities because yeah, we're missing two big categories here. So definitely look into the other two types if you're interested in a public sector job or a commission-based, which is medium risk. Okay. Let me see. Let's talk about the other side of things. So environment, culture, location, values, aesthetic, gym, open close
Hmm.
concept, private room. So all of these, the environment, the setting of the clinic, um, it can look so different, right? Because we're both in private clinics. So this talk is very much geared towards private settings, but even within private settings, they can look so different with completely different values. So does this even
Hmm.
matter to you? Are you guys just all about the compensation perks? We strongly consider that you guys consider the environment, the culture, the clinic, your colleagues, the team, because this is the side of things that likely is like make or break as well. It's not just about the compensation and perks. So what are some of the major things you were looking for while you were looking for a job?
Well, if we
Non-negotiables.
start non-negotiables, well, if we start by location, again, I've
Mm,
worked in different clinics. I have done like commuting in traffic and stuff like
Mm.
that. So at my current job, actually, when I was looking for my current job, I think like the one thing that I really didn't want is to commute in traffic again. So I wanted something that's really like closer to home, and that's what I
So,
got.
so not my life, basically.
Not your life, exactly. I feel like I don't want to
Brutal.
waste time in traffic
Oh,
anymore.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I'm really
Yeah.
grateful because right now, like in like where I'm living, there's like a bridge going to like downtown Montreal that's
Okay.
under
Oh,
construction.
yeah, you said
Yeah,
that.
so
Yep.
it's really bad. The
Mhm.
traffic is really bad. So I'm really
Yep.
happy I don't have to cross that bridge every day to go to work.
Oh,
So yeah, the
yes.
location for me was
Patient.
an important like thing on the list when I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for work.
Yep.
And then the environment also, it could, like Jane said, be very different from one clinic even to the other. So even in private clinics, there are clinics who is more an open concept where you have like
Uh,
bed, like one bed next to the other, and then it's like separated by curtains. Whereas in the clinic that I'm working right now, it's all private rooms. So whether you're
mm.
treating like in orthopedic or we're well, obviously for pelvic health we have to treat in private rooms, but every clinician gets their own private room. So that's
Oh, so
actually
you're
something
not
really nice.
fighting for rooms at the beginning of the
Not
day?
really, not
Oh,
really.
that's
No.
great.
Yeah, we always have a room that's assigned to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's a really great point. So location,
Mm-hmm.
open concept gym or
Yeah.
a closed, yeah, a closed private room. Like obviously you guys are watching this because you're interested in pelvic health physio. So you're
Mm-hmm.
obviously looking for a space with at least, a few private rooms so that you're not fighting
Yeah.
with the RMTs to try to get to that room. What else is a major perks?
And
Culture, values.
exactly. So you want
So,
to see if your values align with that of the clinic. So is this a
yeah,
clinic who is only focusing on like making money off of patients? Like, is
yeah,
it the
the
type of
integrity,
clinic that exactly that pushes you to like give as many like treatment as possible, see this
red
person as
flag,
frequent as
red
possible, you know?
flag.
Because
Yeah,
I've had was going for interviews at different places. There was actually a place that was like this.
really? Like
Yeah,
just
exactly. And
blatantly,
then
oh my gosh, blatantly honest about that? Like,
no, that they didn't put it that way, but the way they put it was that so if you see a certain number of patients, well, no,
what?
how did they put it? I don't remember. They're like, okay, let's say you work 35 hours a week or so, but
Okay,
if you want to do more than that, or if you see more than a certain number of patients, we give you a certain bonuses or things like that. So they kind of like want you to
okay.
see like more. So it's like very like money oriented kind of thing.
See, yeah. I'm all okay. Here's what I have to say about that. I'm all for like clinics or even the practitioner, all for calculating metrics and understanding how well they're doing through like results, reviews,
Mm-hmm.
how happy the client is, even though like maybe it's a referral out, but they felt heard and cared for. Like maybe objective and subjective metrics. I'm all for those, but you can't put a you can't put a
You can't tell like this physio to be like you have to see all your patients at least 6 times, you know,
like
because
that is
not
not the
everyone
definition of
takes
success as a
exactly.
physio.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, it
Or
doesn't,
that you
it's
can
not
tell your
always the
physio
bottom
that you
line.
have to see your patient like at least once a week or things like that, right?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And if the
Mm-hmm.
so from my understanding, the what's it called? The clinic owner typically in Ontario is some type of practitioner as like their
Mm-hmm.
base career. So typically that shouldn't happen because practitioners understand the nature of certain injuries. Sometimes it's a
Mm-hmm.
shorter treatment trajectory. Sometimes it's a chronic illness and we need to see this person a long time. Sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
prehab and then post-op. So that's really strange. But anyways, yeah, that can absolutely happen. If you've got like big red flaggy value differences, I mean, even though they gave you a job, like you're gonna have a lot of like ethical dilemmas and conflicts in your future. I don't know if that's what you want in your future, then go for it. But if you're trying to dodge like the politics of the workplace and dodge those headaches in the future, I've even heard of like terrible things where people take on like a person's license and continue to use that license number
Oh,
far beyond like when that physio's left. So like really like problematic things that are still happening. That's probably a rare scenario, but I'm just saying values matter, right? Because they could be doing some shady shit. Oh, I don't know if I could say that, but shady stuff. And you could be like somehow involved in that. You don't want to be in the middle of that. So certainly integrity, honesty, like I hope those are some of your core values. But even beyond like the necessities, like honesty, how genuine, authentic this clinic is. Some of the other values too, like is it playful? Like, are you at a pediatric pelvic health place? Is this setting even suitable for pelvic health? Or is it looking really like dark and dingy? And
mm,
they're really just focused on treating people in and out. They have 20-minute appointment slots, and you're like, hello, no, this person can't even get changed in 20 minutes with their baby there. So yeah, even taking a look at their values by looking at their payment plans and treatment duration is important. Like you can get a lot from the clinic's values without even asking in the job interview, like what are your clinic's values? You can get a sense of it as you walk in, you look at the prices, you look at the duration, you look at the existing people that are there, the population, you look at the front desk staff and the way they're answering questions or navigating people, the setup of the clinic, like a lot of this stuff will maybe it's not second nature initially, but those are the things you want to pay attention to. And how happy are these clinicians that are working there? Hopefully you get to pick someone's brain, yeah, when you're there shadowing, so that you really get a full understanding of like, hey, what's it really like working here, right? Not just
mm-hmm,
like, hey, how busy are you? How much are you getting paid? Those questions like are up to you as well, right? How good are you at your job? How are you producing results? How are you retentioning creating client
mm-hmm,
retention? So those questions, less of those, more about the clinic's values, I find is more valuable to you in the end, because
mm-hmm.
you're a part of the other
So
equation. Yeah, you
yeah,
were gonna
and I
say.
think some of those information probably you could get also by visiting their website.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
big
visit their
time.
website
Mhm.
and then see. I know that some clinics even have like Instagram pages also, so like
Yes.
can
Oh,
definitely
creep the
scroll
crap out of your
around.
clinic. Creep the crap.
So I can definitely like scroll those around before going to the interview or before
Oh.
applying for the job and to see like it actually like if their vibe actually like goes with your own vibe and stuff
Yes.
like that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what this stat I'm trying to say is, but there is a stat out there where like maybe this is for like Gen Z or millennials, but like for a clinic setting to like excel in terms of like acquiring new clinicians, apparently all clinicians want to see is like people really happy and like having fun at their workplace. And so like seeing it's going to be evident in those like Instagram photos if everyone's miserable and attending these board meetings with like and they don't even look like they want to be there, or everyone's having fun and laughing at the rounds and having these fun dinners and getting to know one
Yeah.
another, treating holistically, looking like the rounds is really like exciting. And yeah, you can absolutely creep the crap out of the website. They might even have the core values right there, right?
Yeah.
On the freaking website or on the Instagram. So definitely check it out. Private rooms was a good point. Equipment access. We talked about this a little bit in the perks. Let me see. And also, as an independent contractor, a major benefit is that I can write that stuff off. So if I do get a vulvar model, which I actually need, or one of those flexi pelvises to explain how the baby labors down, Um, that stuff, I can expense it. I can send it to my accountant, and that kind of reduces my income in my income tax payment eventually. So I guess that is a perk to being a contractor, is I can expense certain things like trips to conferences or the Uber ride I needed to get to that place when I'm at a conference or if I'm meeting a colleague. So that is a benefit. That is a benefit. You're incentivized a little bit to, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think also for the equipment, maybe not only in the perspective of pelvic health, but if
Mm,
you are someone who likes to work with technology, maybe it
yeah.
will be worthwhile looking at what are the equipments available at the clinic that you want to work at. Do they like
Yeah,
work with like shock
100%.
waves? Do they even have like
Yeah.
laser machines, or do they have like really cool technology and stuff? So that's
Yep.
maybe something interesting to look at. Yeah.
Great point. Yeah, real-time ultrasound with pelvic floor probes. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
exactly.
that, but that would be so cool if we had that. Other major things we forgot to maybe consider in the environment of the clinic is the EMR system, the laundry, the how the front staff is trained, how much you're expected to do. Because as a private as a contractor, I want to know if some of those administrative things I do could be done by somebody else and to save me time. Certainly, some of the clinics I've worked in, I was expected to do a little bit of the laundry. Some of them, no, right? So it really depends on the clinic and the expectations. So those need to be really clear and upfront. And EMR system. So what I mean there is the main ones in Ontario are things like Jane App. Clinic Sense is the one that my clinic uses. What are the other? Oh, Embodia is another one that's newly available.
The
EMR
other one
system
I've
is the booking
seen
systems.
is, yes, the other one I've seen in Quebec, it's called Clinic Master.
Clinic Master. Okay.
Mm,
Why is this important? Because,
hmm
yeah, I can tell you certain EMR systems, they don't save automatically. So if your internet shuts down and you've written a big thing about someone's subjective history, it wipes away and you have to start all over again. There's also different systems that will send little, like, you have the option to send reminders or put on a wait list. Because mine does not, I have to make my own wait list, and that takes a lot of time. So maybe that's not a concern as a new pelvic health physio, but certainly later on, you get to be a little more picky choosy about this stuff. And if you really like JNAP or if you really like Clinic Sense and they're not using it, maybe that's a barrier. Maybe that's a barrier to you because you know how that EMR system works. Generally, I'm guessing it's the Gen Z millennial population watching these videos. You guys are probably pretty familiar with tech and not worried about this, but it can be annoying. It can be annoying. Some of the other things is environment of the clientele, or sorry, environment
hmm
where it's located and the clientele that they're attracting. So
hmm
obviously, if you're like you're a pediatric pelvic health person, you're gonna want a family-oriented space.
hmm
Somewhere with toys readily available or a space for the stroller to park that in the front. If you see that it's just cramped and like 20 rooms down a row that is so narrow that it wouldn't fit a stroller, that's probably not the site, right? For you.
hmm
So even the clientele, like what are you interested in? It matters. Are you picking the best space for the future clientele that you ideally would want? Yeah.
hmm And I think
Okay.
you also
Yeah.
made a good point in the beginning when you said like the first two clinic you worked at, you weren't getting like a full caseload. And then the second one, because of the location, and then because it's like the financial district, is like it's
Yeah.
much easier to make your full caseload. So I think that also changes your clientele, right? Probably
Yeah,
like
that's true.
I don't know, maybe it also changes the socioeconomic status of the
Oh,
client, like how much
100%.
they are, yeah, able to afford for the services.
I
So
was just going to bring that
yeah,
up.
I
And
think definitely different
yeah,
community is a little different.
And that's a little bit of like a sad story, right? Like
Yeah.
you're right. It was very different. It was very evident at one of the clinics that I was working at that pelvic health physio at the rates that we were charging, albeit it was a lot less than what we're charging at a downtown clinic space. It was not affordable. Like people would be like, yo, you got to help me in like 1 to 2 sessions. That's all I got. Okay. That's all. And I'm like, this is not something that can be resolved in 1 to 2 sessions, like tough, hard conversations. And that conversation ate our treatment time. And I'm like, this is impossible. I would be just staying late and giving people free time. And it was just, yeah, that's a whole other topic. We should talk about boundaries one day, but it was tough. It was really tough. And then I worked downtown and everyone's like, oh yeah, whatever. You just tell me how much I need to come in and like I will come in. And we need physios to help with all different like people of different socioeconomic, yeah, social backgrounds. And so that was a really tough experience. Especially also as a new pelvic health physio who was just trying to build a caseload. I'm like, wow, I really can't build a caseload here because people, even though I got a new client, she's going to leave me in one more session. So like it was really tough. Like I can't even produce results. How are we going to
Hmm.
do this? And then I left the clinic before coming up with a solution. But again, there could be solutions out there that could
Yeah.
be good for all parties. I just don't know what that is. So yeah, that's a really great point. That's a really great point. In Ontario and Quebec, physio is not, pelvic health physio is not covered by OHIP except certain circumstances. And there's also a community pelvic health physio that is covered by OHIP, I believe, but she is like booked up the wazoo. And it's a very specific scenario, I believe, that you can get access to this person. For the most part, it's pay out of pocket or health subsidized by your health benefits plan, whatever is in your physio bucket. So that's
Hmm.
really tough because some people only have $300. Some people only have $500. And you're like, what? It's $500 is great, but it gets eaten up so quickly. Like that's $500 is certainly not enough. You could argue with me, not enough for even pregnancy prep and getting in all the points
Hmm.
that we wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole other
That's
topic.
yeah. That's a whole other topic
Oh man.
to discuss about.
Yes. And I think things policy might be changing soon. So yeah, there's some
Mm.
exciting things going on in Ontario to change that. Okay, anyways, those were the two major categories. We hope you guys found this really helpful. If you guys feel like we missed a major component in the private sector between like the compensation, the perks, the environment, and what that looks like, please drop us a comment and put, guys, you totally missed this topic, and we could address that in a reply. Okay, thank you so much for watching us. If you really like this content, subscribe to our Stubby Nails channel. And we also have our bonus material available to you in our Patreon Stubby Nails account. So look out for that as well. Cindy, any final comments?
I think we kind of mentioned that a little bit. So yeah, when you are looking for a job, try to like look out for all of those points that we mentioned above. And remember, a lot of things are negotiable, and try to negotiate it before
Yeah.
signing it, so you will feel comfortable.
Yeah, I would say like
Yeah.
because most, I don't know if this is true, but I'm definitely a people pleaser. So I find it really difficult to ask for a raise or bring up the negotiation again after I've already accepted the job offer. If you guys can even mention like, hey, could we revisit these expectations in 6 months once I'm familiar with the job and familiar with my tasks, and let's renegotiate certain things that maybe would bring me like more joy working at this clinic site. More likely than not, your clinic owner is going to say, heck yes, let's revisit some of these points in 6 months. So if you guys are scared to bring up these like renegotiations, set a timeline with your boss and just be like, could we do this every year where we revisit my happiness at the clinic, our values, our core values, what could improve in the clinic to improve my practice here, what could improve in the clinic to improve my retention and the client's experience here. The clinic owner is probably pretty excited that you're excited to grow with the group. So yeah, don't be afraid to bring up renegotiations as well. If you're like now listening to this video and you're like, holy crap, I need to renegotiate this thing. Don't be scared. You're probably going to have a much happier work-life balance or a happier work experience if you bring up some of these things that have been on your mind for a while. Guys, if you want to subscribe to our Patreon account, we have a really great bonus this month. Our bonus video is the top 3 things to record and basically keep a record of at the start of your physiotherapy practice so that you can negotiate pretty much a guaranteed raise next year. And so I'm going to take concepts from a book that I've read and basically apply something she calls a brag book. And we're going to record some of those metrics and have it automated a little bit so that you can negotiate a raise next year. So we hope you guys follow our Patreon account. And yeah, there's a lot of good bonus material there. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we hope we see you at the next video. Bye.
Bye.